gentlemen, at this time, Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades will take some questions regarding the future of the program.
Mack, how do you view what's next in your search?
Well, I think number one, we're certainly going to do our due diligence. It's an important hire for this institution in terms of where we want to take the program. And, candidly, Tom did a great job. This is a hard job. It's a hard job because you have a lot of things that maybe other schools have and you don't. And so he did a terrific job of moving that needle forward. And now it's certainly my job, our job, with the next head coach to try to move that even further. And I think we can do that. And we'll do our due diligence and look at every candidate possible. And I think so much of hiring a head coach too is about fit. I think there's a lot of people out there that can X and O and do a great job coaching the game. Okay. But I think you look beyond that and you look to see what's a good fit for your institution. And look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, and look at who can at best address that. And quite frankly, I, as the director of athletics, I know what we don't have. Okay, I'm very aware of that, and I'm confident that we will, over time, work to get some of those resources. So, we're going to hire somebody that understands that, somebody that's going to come in and work together with me and the rest of our talented administration, and we're going to work together to build that program. And that's the type of person that we're looking for.
Beyond the word fit, are there some specific criteria? Or you want a guy who's done it first, or is you just wide open on that?
Yeah, I don't put limitations on that. I think, the minute you begin to start putting some of those limitations, you start to put yourself in a corner. And so, I'm open to it all. I think there's some great assistant coaches out there. I think there's some great assistant coaches that have been a head coach before. They've, whether that's junior high or high school or college. I think there's, some former head coaches out there. So I think, and then I think there's current head coaches, that we'll look at. So we'll look at, all categories.
Mack, what kind of budget restraints are you under when you hired the new coach?
I think in terms of salary, I feel good about the salary and what Tom was making, and so it'll be something in that range. We'll have some flexibility there, but we'll keep it in that range of what Tom was making. So,
do you have a short list? I mean, a lot of ADs keep lists of potential.
I think you always have a list, whether it's on paper or in your mind. Certainly, you have some people that you've known through time that you respect and have done that you think certainly has done a great job. But let me be very clear on this as well. I have not spoken to anyone, former or current coach, head or assistant, about this job whatsoever. Now, I'll begin to do that process and begin that process this afternoon. But up until this time, absolutely have not talked with anybody that would be a potential candidate here.
Mack, since you'll begin that process, would it be safe to assume that one of those calls is going to go to Billy Gillespie?
Candidly, at this point, I don't know. I don't know. Certainly there's that possibility, and people know that Billy and I work together. I was part of the hiring process when he was hired at UTEP, so I know Billy. But for me to tell you absolutely he'd be a candidate at this point in time, I don't know.
Did you give Coach Penders the option of staying, and will he fulfill a full buyout, or did you reach a settlement of some type?
I think, Tom alluded to the conversation. I think we really did have a very, very positive conversation. And I think, our relationship has always been open, honest, and in person, okay? And we talked about, where the program was headed, with him only having 2 years. What does that mean to the program? How does that affect recruiting? What's your future? All of those different things. And he certainly initiated the the opportunity to resign. And in terms of compensation and all of those things, candidly, right now, it'd be premature for me to even talk about them. I will tell you that we will work with Tom to negotiate a fair exit. Absolutely. It's what he deserves.
Mack, how will you address the next coach applying for the job as far as facilities when the question comes up?
Well, I think it's going to be a leap of faith for that head coach, and certainly we're going through that process right now in terms of the feasibility study, and you know, we'll let them know that we're going to do, you know, everything we can to invest in new facilities, and that's all you can do. You know, at this point in time, that's all you can do, and that's what we'll talk to them about. You know, I think we're going to need to bring in somebody here that you know, isn't afraid to work. You know, it's not time and a half here, it's double time. And we're going to have to work really, really hard. Somebody that's going to be creative, that does a great job of developing relationships, I think, you know, not only here in Houston, not only with high school coaches, et cetera, but also with our season ticket holders, donors, all of those things. And so those will be some of the things that we'll look at.
Do you think the new program has to have local ties, high school-wise, AAU-wise? Do you think that's unnecessary to win here?
You know, I always break it down, you know, in terms of what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I think one of our greatest assets here at Houston is the city of Houston and the local talent. And so, you know, certainly I think we need to do the best we can to exploit that, to address that. You know, you look at somebody like Coach Sumlin, you look at his recruiting class, I think of 25, I think 11 of them were from the Houston area. And so I'm a big believer you always start in your backyard, and we'll work and start there first.
Mack, Tom said that there was an expectation of 15 wins minimum per season, or at least his contract said any game you win after that, you get a. What are your realistic expectations of the next coach of where this program should be in 2 or 3 years?
30-0. You know, I think when you hire a head coach, it's a partnership, and I really believe that. I really do. I think, you know, what you do is you hire the right person, and then you sit down and you really develop that plan together on how we're going to get there. And so for me to, you know, hire somebody and say, look, I expect you to win 30 games, go to the NCAA tournament, et cetera, and do that in 2 years, that's not fair, okay? What you do is you hire the right person, then you look and you work together and say, okay, here's the things that we need to accomplish so that we can get our program to a point where we're experiencing postseason play on a regular basis, okay? That we're competing for a conference championship, that we're going to the NCAA tournament. And so that is what we'll put in place, and that's how we'll address it.
We have time for 2 more questions, everyone.
Putting together your list of candidates, is it more contingent on what you guys want, or more of how much interest do you think people would have in the job?
I think it's a two-way street. I think you know, both come into play. You know, there's certainly some people out there that, you know, we may be interested in that you know, are not interested in us for various reasons, various circumstances. And I'm certain that there's some people out there that I don't know of that may come across that will be exceptional candidates. And so, again, that goes back to doing our due diligence.
Last question.
How soon do you hope to make a hire?
You know, I think probably the best answer that I can provide is you know, sooner rather than later. But you know, when you look at the time of year right now, potential candidates could still be involved in the NCAA tournament, and certainly we're going to have sensitivity to that. We're not going to wait. We're going to be aggressive. But again, I think, you know, that certainly will play into the timeline.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rhoades. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.